2018 Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer Review. The good points of Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer: well built, accomplished handling, practical. The bad points of Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer: mismatched cabin, not cheap to obtain or run. CVT gearbox can hamper overtaking. Long-distance refinement. This oddity could be the replacement for the well-respected Subaru Legacy Tourer. Consider that name remains used in other countries. The Japanese firm were required to come up having a new moniker. That's the key reason why you are watching the Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer review. Just one engine and gearbox to be had. But the weirdness doesn't hold on there. That is one difficult car to pigeonhole. Its rivals, broadly speaking, are mid-sized estates like the Volvo V60, Ford's Focus estate as well as the Seat Leon Street. None of the are available having a blend of all-wheel drive, 1.6 petrol engine and CVT automatic gearbox, though. And with all the Levorg, that's the sole combo offered. So who that is known as this car for? The firm expects around 500 customers each year. Well, if you buy one, and they'll predominantly pay cash outright. Leasing isn't a consideration here because Subaru struggles to produce the finances work, so monthly bills will be far above cars of rival size and gratification. It's a motor vehicle for those with cash but no aspirations to square out, and it's definitely one you are able to rely upon. Capable, practical and safe. Under the epidermis is a chassis given to the high-performance Subaru WRX SDI, albeit having a smaller, lesser powered and so far more efficient petrol engine under the distinctive vented bonnet. That means it's capable with regards to handling, but it's a practical car with many different clever features. Its boot is huge, using a low loading height and flat floor. There are lots of safety systems installed, plus a new infotainment system borrowed through the bigger Outback takes pride of put in place the cabin. Not great on fuel or tax. But you can find drawbacks too, especially with regard to running costs. With single 6-liter petrol engine pulling this kind of large car, fuel economy is rarely going being fantastic within a world of torquey diesels. It's an identical story with tax, as the Levorg emits a good amount of CO2 also. Its cabin, while improved, is usually roundly outstyled by competitors even when it does sense that it'll survive a nuclear war. We loved the STI-derived front seats, though. The verdict. So the Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer is really a nonsense estate having a set of very specific talents. It handles well, feels nicely made, and is often a pleasant put-in-place which to shell out time. If you need the ultimate status symbol for the investment, or perhaps the latest in slush-molded interior technology, this won't be to suit your needs. The CVT gearbox could also not be to your taste. But the Subaru Levorg's qualities are really well defined. You'll watch you know it does not take car for you personally, could it turns a wheel. Subaru fans, cue here. For a much more in-depth understand this estate's attributes, watch on for that comprehensive evaluation. Limited options. Automatic only. Overtaking requires planning. There's one engine and gearbox combination to be had here. It's a 60-minute 6-liter turbocharged petrol engine coupled in an automatic continuously variable transmission CVT gearbox which Subaru calls Lineartronic. The engine performs well, which has a broad SP watch of torque considering its relatively diminutive dimensions. It develops 170 horsepower, however it is 250 Nm of torque is being offered between 1,800 and 4,800 revolutions per minute, so it's flexible enough traveling. The Levorg is quick to retort when leaving from stationary, but performing overtaking maneuvers is when it can fight to generate momentum. A college degree of thinking ahead may be required. What's the Levorg's gearbox like? To get the very best from it you'll need to use the paddles behind the tire to change gear, though, for the reason that nature of the CVT gearbox means it will require a while to get started if left to its own devices. This version has 6 steps built in it, therefore, the power delivery roughly mirrors that of any normal automatic gearbox when changing gears manually, but there's still a disconnect between what your foot does when the car responds. Is it a sheep in wolf's clothing? If you're inside the mood to push a little more enthusiastically, there's a couple buttons on the tire marked S and I. Pushing the S button engages a hobby mode, which sharpens the throttle response and quickens the gearbox's response times somewhat. We think it is better to operate a vehicle like this, but you'll pay a serious penalty in fuel costs. It's an uncomplicated car to operate a vehicle because of the insufficient complexity here. Thanks to the proven fact that it uses petrol as opposed to diesel, it's not just all that noisy. It's merely a shame Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer performance doesn't appear to match the impression distributed by that big vent inside the bonnet. Stable and nimble they are driving. All-wheel drive should aid traction. Light steering. This is normally where a Subaru excels, and there's no exception with all the Levorg. It's essentially the most sure-footed estate cars on the market thanks to the firm's WRXSDI, which includes many chassis parts including an all-wheel drive system. You've got an amazing volume of grip available, a lot more than is absolutely needed during every single day driving. Sports car grip, estate car style. Even when approaching the limits of traction in slippery situations it's predictable and balanced on account of the torque vectoring system, which often can gently brake the interior wheels when cornering to stop front or rear ends pushing wide. It's an agile car too. The engine's layout features horizontally opposed cylinders, a Subaru trail, which means it could be mounted lower in your vehicle than normal, and so the center of gravity is much better the ground, plus the car changes direction quicker than more conventional estates. We found the steering waiting for being well judged too, with the unusual level of feedback with the flat-bottomed leader for this sort of car. The brakes were much better than we expected, having a progressive pedal feel and sharp, although not aggressive, response. There's a power parking brake and hill start assist on all Levorgs, Rogues, preventing your vehicle from rolling backwards when triggering on a hill. A braked towing weight of merely 1,500 kilograms is high for the car, which has a 1.6-liter engine, and definitely makes the Levorg ideal for caravanners who don't desire to run to a full-sized SUV. Improved, but nonetheless a way to go. This is how things will go right. The Levorg is a lot better than many recent Subarus from the cabin, and advantages from the styling and tech that this latest Outback featured, but it's still the best way behind the curvature. Piano black trim, contrasting blue stitching and silver fake carbon fiber don't make for any particularly harmonious design. It does feel too well built in it, however, although the rubber around the top of the key dash area may well not look as plush as an example, a German equivalent, it's clearly very hard wearing. You feel in your own home quickly. It's readily accessible, a good driving position though, considering that the driver's seat is electrically adjustable through 8 directions. You've got good visibility while driving, and also the standard rear view camera is great for parking. However, it could be easier still should you install the optional parking sensors which can be found at expense. The Starlink infotainment system operated with the center touchscreen isn't the simplest to use, with a lot of the buttons being they can't watch and select in a flash, proving to get a distraction while driving. Supportive seats. Spacious cabin. With a suspension system developed with compliance under consideration, Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer comfort isn't as bad because you might expect. General ride quality is a useful one, but road bumps are transmitted to the cabin more frequently than we'd like, lacking that final level of isolation from thumps. The engine is quiet, however, there is too much tire noise because you approach motorway speeds. There's lots of space within the cabin, but our favorite aspect would be the front seats. They're a fresh design based heavily on those found within the high-performance WRX SDI, so they're incredibly supportive. They're covered in leather and show heating as standard too. One trim level. Not many optional extras. Standard Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer equipment. On the surface of the auto you've got automatic headlights and wipers, front fog lights, power folding door mirrors, 18-inch alloy wheels, LED headlamps, tinted rear glass, 2 exhaust tailpipes. In the cabin, leather seats, Gartnoben tire, heated front seats, with driver's 8-way electric adjustment, 7.0-inch touchscreen with tire-mounted controls, Bluetooth connectivity, 6 speakers and rear-view camera, dual-zone climate control, keyless ignition and entry, a tire repair kit and stainless steel pedals. Optional Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer accessories. Available as optional extras are features increasing practicality, including pet carriers, canoe and ski attachments, cargo nets, bike carriers, a rubber boot liner, and parking sensors for both ends of your vehicle. 5 stars from Euro NCAP. Eyesight safety system fitted from 2017. Since there's a massive array of kit installed and also the firm prides itself on construction, it's fair to mention we think Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer aspects exemplary. Standard on all Levorgs can be a number of airbags front, side, curtain and knee together with automatic high-beam headlights and rear vehicle detect. There are ISOFIX child seat mounting points and also a brake assist system which applies full braking power if the vehicle senses you really need it. Subaru Rear Vehicle Detection SRVD is roofed too, which mixes blind spot detection with cross-traffic alert, which warns you when reversing of a motor vehicle about to cross behind you. From 2017, the eyesight safety system, first seen within the Outback, was fitted on all models. With 2 forward-facing cameras mounted for the front windscreen, oncoming obstacles and potential hazards are constantly monitored for, using the system reacting accordingly together with the combined using autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. The strategy is designed to avoid accidents that accelerates to 28 miles per hour and lower the severity of accidents that occur at higher speeds. Ample space front and back. Several cubbies and storage spaces. Not a multitude of locations large enough for handheld devices. As using the slightly bigger Outback, Subaru Levorg Sport Tourer practicality is extremely good. The boot measures 522 liters and it is low-lip couples having a flat floor for making loading heavier items as elementary as possible. There's a different 40-liter space concealed in the boot floor too, which serves to maintain smaller items outside of sight and never rattling across the luggage area. It also houses the tire repair kit. C8 folding options. You can fold the back seats down in a very 60 hours 40 minutes configuration via mechanical levers inside the boot, and this also leaves you having a flat load area measuring 1,446 liters all told. Cargo hooks and also a retractable truck cover are installed at the same time. You've got 4 cup holders inside cabin, 2 between top seats and another 2 inside rear armrest, as well as 6 USB jacks and 2 12-volt power sockets. The door pockets each have bottle pockets, and there's a box inside the central console for more storage.